Hey everybody, it's Beth, the Green Thumb Mama, coming at you from Blackbird Acres Farm in southwest Idaho. Very smoky southwest Idaho. Had a couple of followers ask me about my dehydrated eggs because I did it two different ways. I did it scrambled first and then dehydrated, and then I did it raw dehydrated. So I thought I would come on here and do a video and show you my results. And so let's get into it. Okay, so my top tray was the scrambled eggs. Now, I'm going to tell you that I'm not too excited about the dark in here. I don't know if you can see. Sometimes, like when you leave scrambled eggs out after you've cooked them, like maybe you've cooked them and not all of it has gotten eaten, it will kind of turn this greenish color, and so that's what I'm seeing here is kind of this greenish color. I don't know if you can tell if the lighting is not good or not. I'm going to go ahead and grind these up anyway. I did mention in the comments section that I grind these up as a protein powder to add to my daughter's food when she has days where she's not consuming enough protein. I have a special needs child who's medically fragile, and her dietary needs are pretty intense, and so this is a really great inexpensive way to add some protein to her meals. I usually add it to her pancake mix. I make homemade pancake mix, and so that's kind of the reason why I dehydrate the eggs. The next couple of layers is the raw egg that I put in my dehydrator, and I mean, it looks kind of like what you would expect. There were a few thick areas that got a little dark, but I don't really think that's gonna, sorry, the focus is pretty bad. I don't think that that's gonna affect really the edibility of it. I think it was just really thick in that area and it got dark from dehydrating. There's the third one. So I'm going to go ahead and grind these up, and I'm going to show you what each one looks like ground up. Okay, so here is the pre-cooked scrambled eggs that were dehydrated. Lobo, you need to move away. You don't get any of this, sorry. I don't know if you can tell that there's a lot of bigger bits that I had a really hard time getting ground up. And I think I'm gonna sift it, and maybe there's one. Sift it. That was kind of the greenish, darker area. It seems like the greener parts had a hard time grinding down. And so I think what I'm gonna do is maybe sift this out and put the bigger chunks back in, or maybe put it in I have a little coffee grinder that I use for herbs. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, these were the eggs that were dehydrated raw, and they really look like what you would expect. That vibrant orange color, it ground down nice and fine. I don't know that the color necessarily makes a difference when you're putting it in stuff, but I like this a whole lot better. Let me show you a comparison. I haven't done a second grind on these yet, but wow, big difference. I'm honestly gonna say that I prefer the dehydrated raw over the dehydrated scrambled. But honestly, if you are having trouble with the eggs running all over the place, if you don't have a food dehydrator that has really high edges, like I don't, these are the dehydrator trays that I'm using, and they're pretty shallow, which I guess is really good when you are doing eggs because you don't want them to be too thick, if you recall that really dark area. So this is what I have, and so you would need several trays. If you're dozens of these, then you would need more of them and not fill them too thick so they run over. So I guess it just depends on what you prefer. Again, this was a fun experiment. I did this because I was complaining about the fact that my eggs were running all over the place when I was trying to pour them into my dehydrating trays. And my husband said, well, why don't you just scramble them and dehydrate them scrambled? And I just kind of sat there for a minute and thought, well, yeah, why not? Why not scramble them? And I can see why I probably will not do them again. I don't really like the way they look. Again, it's not going to really matter if I'm sticking them in pancake mix. They didn't grind up nearly as uniformly, which again, I don't know if it's going to matter in the way that you use them. I think probably if you're going to rehydrate them to use them in recipes, I would for sure dehydrate them raw, because you can't rehydrate cooked eggs. So I think it just depends on what you want to use them for. Anyway, that was my experiment. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think I'm going to go sift through those dehydrated cooked eggs and give those another whir in my blender and see if I can get it a little more fine. I hope y'all have a good day. Thanks for joining me on the homestead in the kitchen, and we'll catch you later.